Hi, I'm Tayne.
And I'm Aid, and this is Altar Call, a Married at First Sight podcast.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode. And on this episode, I am joined by the lovely Nana again. Hi, Nana.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. And today we will be discussing the finale of Love Island. Um, we would have had this sooner, but Nana is a little bit under the weather, but she rallied. How you feeling, Nana?
So if you want to call it rallying, sure. But yes, guys, if I'm a bit low energy, I'm just super sick. So I apologize in advance, but I'm gonna do my best.
Yeah. So it's finally done. The week before, I was telling Nana, that I am ready for this to be done because it's consuming my life. It is not healthy. I don't want it anymore. I enjoyed it. But even though it's over, we found out that we have a reunion August 16th, which I am super duper excited about. I think the only thing I'm kind of torn about is, should Ariana host the reunion?
Who would be your other option?
We're going to get into this on the episode because I hadn't really thought about it. But I think maybe this Call Her Daddy host, Alex Cooper, might do a good job.
Okay. Have you listened to any of the interviews with like the Islanders? I haven't. I know some
I
of
have
them
not,
have
I
done
mean,
some of them.
yeah, like I said, we're going to get into this episode. So I haven't watched all of it as an entirety. But the good thing about the life we live in, the days or society we live in now, is that you just get so many clips. If you piece it together, it's almost like you listen to the whole thing. But I think it's the right level of asking the question, seeing what it is. Because I feel like Ariana is kind of close to them and kind of has some kind of feelings towards them. But again, you can't judge someone until you see what they actually do. So I don't know. It was just a thought I had that there might be some emotional connections and maybe asking the hard questions might be harder. I don't know. But and
You know what?
again,
I've never once
this is her
considered
first.
like a reunion with someone who's a fan of the show rather than a host, but that's an interesting idea.
Yeah. And this is not her. I don't want to say life skill, job skill. I mean, this is her first time hosting something. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. But she's been part of the reality verse, but this is not like her job that we'll see. I mean, let's give her a chance before, because again, I don't know if she's hosted, but I think she kind of killed it for the season. So we'll see how that goes for the reunion. Maybe enough prompting, enough coaching, and it'll work. But it was just a thought that I had. So, I think the finale went as we expected. If you don't know by now, it's been almost a week now. Serena and Cordell were the winners, and I think we talked a little bit about it. Leah and Miguel was second. Expected. Leah has like a huge fan base. Janelle and Kenny were third, and Kendall and Nicole were fourth. So I'm correct. We're not
Yeah.
surprised.
No, not at all. I was actually, I don't know, Love Island every year, I guess it does this to me. Maybe you're usually so worn down by the end that you like gain a fondness for everyone. But apart from Kendall and Nicole, because I can't stand Kendall, I actually really like the top three. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
my babies. I was so sad to see them go. I was really happy with how everything worked out. I would have preferred Janae and Kenny to be second, personally. But apart from that, I don't really
Yeah.
have any other complaints.
Yes, yeah, I agree with everything that you said. I'm sure this is outdated now. I kind of got like a little count of what their IG followers were. We already kind of knew that Leah had like the biggest following, and we should note that this is the first time that all four finalists were people of color, which is kind of great.
Yes. UK
So,
could never, anyway.
would never.
Never.
um, So the highest follower count is Leah. Again, the number is not quite, I'm sure it's updated since I got it, at 2.1 million. Second, Serena at 1 million. It's insane to me, the gap between Leah and Serena. Like, it's almost a million in between both. Janae 964 third. Hopefully she's hit a million now. Then fourth is Rob. And then fifth is Miguel, then Cordell, then Liv, then Kaylor. It says Kenny, but Kenny at the time his account has been suspended for some reason. I don't know. I don't think he did something, maybe just a glitch or something like that. Then Nicole, then Aaron, and then Kendall, and then Daniela. I don't know how Daniela is included as a Casa girl, but I guess she made it through and all that. So there have been some, not scandals, but scandals that have happened since then that we should probably talk about. So, okay, wait, let me rewind. You know how you said you didn't care about Nicole and Kendall? So somebody asked me because I feel the same way, not a fan, and I really wanted them to be fourth, and I kept, you know, I was being a hater, and I kept saying like I can't wait for Kendall to see like we don't really fuck with him when he gets outside the house. And the person asked me, what is it that people don't like about Kendall? What did he do? How would you answer that question?
I can give you a few reasons. My first one, it's he gave me Luca from Love Island season 8 UK vibes, where they egg on other people to quote not cheat because I guess they're not in a relationship, but to explore with other girls in Casa Amor while they do nothing, and they do it knowing full well that they're gonna come off as the only quote unquote good one. It's gonna make them look better on TV, make them look better to their partners that they've left back in the villa, and he was doing everything like that, like a little bitch. I'm sorry, he was too
I mean,
excited, egging people on. Hated
you could
it,
go more
hated it.
recent. That's what
Yeah,
Joey's doing right now in the
yeah,
UK. That's what he
true.
did.
Yeah. Like, yeah, so he was doing that. Absolutely hate it. And he just comes across as insincere in absolutely everything he does to me. Like, nothing about him seems authentic. Yeah, I just don't like him. I
Okay.
just think he's fake. That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
What are your reasons?
So that was my reason, was just like he doesn't seem genuine. He just seems like the kind of person who, well, at the time, I thought that he had like a late glow up, but I mean, I saw some of his pictures when he was younger. He did not have a late glow up. I've always thought Kendall was cute, so it's not even about that or whatever, but I thought he was disingenuous. I found like, and again, these are all speculations. I don't know this man from Adam, but I found like even him being with Nicole, I didn't know if he was really being with Nicole because he felt like, oh, I got a baddie, so I'm just like, just so happy. It wasn't necessarily about Nicole herself. It was just like, oh, I got a baddie, and just, I'm gonna revel in it because that thing men do where they just want to show off to their friends that they have
Mm-hmm.
someone they consider a baddie. So that's what it just seemed to go like he had arm candy. And even back and forth,
Yeah.
like he said, some of the things that he would say, um, when he would tell Cordell, is this what you want in a wife, blah, 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 then he went straight immediately to Serena and then started saying different things. Like, it just didn't seem, he always wanted to know what the gist was and then use it to his advantage in some way. My other
Yeah.
reasons is like, there are pictures that came out of him and his best friend, Chad, and Chad had a hat that was a Let's Go Brandon, like believe what you believe, but not aligned with where I stand. And he himself said that he identified as a black man, so not quite understanding what that is about. So that is really my deal with Kendall. Is mostly the being disingenuous. But the scandals that I refer to is that, and I can't remember if we talked about it, but him allegedly leaving a girlfriend just to come on the show. That's under the umbrella of the being disingenuous because that is not cool if it is true. But again, we don't know if that's true or not. But the most recent one was, I think, the day before the final. A video was leaked of him, a very explicit video. Some say I tried my hardest to avoid the video because I didn't want to see it. Some say it was on an actual porn site. I don't know or whatever. I do think it's sad that if it was a private video, somebody leaked it, that is not yours to share. But I think for me in that regard, that's not part of why I don't like him. Mine was just I don't know how that video is going to affect him and Nicole because even their movement outside of the house, it's not giving couple.
Yeah. That sucks. I hate it when people leak like personal stuff. I feel like that has nothing to do with anything, and it shouldn't be downplayed just because these people have appeared on reality TV for our consumption. We're not entitled
Yeah.
to every part of him. But I am absolutely with you on the other things, like his political views, all of that. Yeah, just not with it. And Nicole, again, when it's not like I dislike her, but I don't like her either, I would just say, because I think she's equally as fake as he is. And I think she was playing the game probably even harder than him. Sorry, but I
Mhm.
actually cried laughing when he confessed his love, and she was like, "I have so much love for you." And then she spent all of the last episode weeping because she didn't want to lie that she was in love with him, but she was playing along because she knew it looked good. And she kept saying, "Oh my gosh, I was just so worried I messed up. I'm so worried I messed up," because she knows like the view she wanted to give. I don't know how to explain it. But Kendall is definitely gassed that he's got a bad bitch on his arm in Nicole because she's gorgeous regardless of what you think of her. And he just gave off the elf like, oh my god, I'm with my first baddie, which I'm sure he's not because he's not my type at all, but he is an objectively handsome man. Um,
Mhm.
I'm sure he's dated other beautiful women, but he did give off that overexcited, which I don't find attractive, and I feel like it was also giving her the ick at times, but she was trying to power through it to make it so they can make it as far. So I honestly think she's just as fake as he is.
I
Yeah.
had that feeling, but I had a turnaround. And then towards the end,
Okay.
I just felt bad for her because I
Ooh,
suddenly got the
okay.
impression that she had been in bad relationships because I think she said something about to the effect of like they were so bad like she never even introduced them to her family and it
Mhm.
was just giving like I want to say abusive, but I don't necessarily mean physical, but even if it's just mental, like breaking her down and all that kind of stuff. And I genuinely believed her fear when he said he loved her and all that, and she didn't respond and she didn't want to say it because she's like, maybe I feel it, but realistically, we've only known each other for how many months or whatever. Why would I feel it? But
And she
I,
did say she had an urge to run anytime she heard someone say they loved her, which, girl, I feel her.
yeah.
But yeah. Uh huh.
But I do feel that it was some kind of reverse psychology, and I didn't appreciate that from Kendall. I think he put her on the
Mhm.
spot and like to
Yes.
force her to say it and all that kind of to have a moment in the
Mhm.
final and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know, it just felt weird or whatever. But I did
Yep.
believe her towards the end. I had to turn around for her. So that's why I'm like how I wonder how she's taking it. I mean, things still say that they're still together. He's still planning to move to California to be with her. But when they all left the villa, all the other couples were together. I didn't really see them together for the longest time. I didn't see them post any pictures. Even when they posted pictures, it just seemed like not forced, but okay, we're a couple, we have to post. So who knows? Everything is going to be revealed, but it'll be interesting to see. I'm so glad they gave enough time from now to the reunion for things to unfold because a lot of things have happened. I was excited when Kaylor and Aaron were eliminated because I was like, right now there's no way to save them, so it's time to go. And it's so funny how the house had no idea that they were the ones that were gonna go. Everyone was so sure that Leah and Miguel was who was gonna leave, and I'm like,
They
guys.
kept waiting for it after every announcement. It was so funny. Every announcement, they're
nobody
like, "What? What?" It just cracking me up. Can I
Nobody
say,
wants to hear
Tayne?
Aaron.
Even Leah, I stopped hating her.
Fuck.
By the way, by the end, even she grew on me. I'm like, oh my god, am I getting soft about old age? But yeah, Aaron, he's another one I will never like. You can never make me like that man. So I was really happy that they didn't make it to the final four either. Poor Kayla. I hope she wakes up. She probably won't.
I
But
doubt it. There
yeah.
was a little drama. I don't know if you heard about it when Aaron
No,
was
tell
doing
me
a
the
live.
drama. Mhm.
Aaron was doing a live, and she was in the background talking to a friend, and somebody said something. Anyways, the words her friend said was like, "Nobody cares about Leah. No one's gonna care about her in 6 months." and stuff
Ah,
like that. So that was a whole thing. They claim that they've talked about it. Her friend was just trying to lift her up. They all went to Disney together, so they claim that they're fine, but who knows?
I saw
Who
that.
knows? Who knows?
Minus Aaron and Miguel, right? Oh no, they were there, but they weren't really in the pictures because I think it classes as working, and they're not American.
Life doesn't happen bi-weekly, so why should payday? The money you make can be in your hands today with Earn In. Earn In is an app that gives you access to your pay as you work, up to $100 per day or up to $750 per pay period. Just download the Earn In app and verify your paycheck. Then access up to $100 a day as you work and leave an optional tip. Any money you access plus tips are automatically repaid from your next paycheck. Summer is coming and it is time for all of us to go on vacation. You can use the money you earn from Earn In to buy a new bathing suit or some new clothes for your fun summer vacation.
Download EarnIn today, spelled EARNIN, in the Google Play or Apple App Store. When you download the EarnIn app, type in Alto Call under podcast. When you sign up, it'll really help the show. That's Alto Call under podcast. Subject to your available earnings, location, daily max, and pay period max. See earnin.com/TOS for details. EarnIn is a financial technology company, not a bank. Bank products are issued by Evolve Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
You know what I don't miss at all? That vicious week before a period. The cravings, the irritability, and just generally feeling off. Now it's easier to manage PMS with estro control. Happy Mammoth, the company that created Hormone Harmony, is dedicated to making women's lives easier. And that means using only science backed ingredients that have been proven to work for women. They make no compromise when it comes to quality, and it shows.
Hormone Harmony contains science backed herbal extracts called adaptogens. Now, here's the beauty about adaptogens, they help the body adapt to any stressors, like chaotic hormonal changes that happen naturally throughout a woman's life. For a limited time, you can get 15% off on your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use the code AltocallMAFS at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use the code AltoCall MAFS for 15% off today. Um,
So
Miguel is not around. Miguel is back in London.
yeah,
So he's
and
been
But
missing.
Aaron
And
wasn't in the promotional stuff. I think I saw him in the background, but he wasn't
oh,
like
okay.
actively involved. And I think it's because he's not American, so it'd be classed as
Oh,
working,
okay.
which is against the law, like visa wise.
Oh, okay. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I just thought I thought only the girls was who I saw.
No,
Went to, and
I
they all
saw a
wore.
picture. He was in the background of one of the pictures, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, just not
It
in.
they
Hmm.
they planned to wear like a white shirt and denim, and they had like a uniform and all that kind of stuff. That was the only one
I saw.
that I saw. Um, Leah, I don't know how I feel about Leah. Honestly, I have an unpopular opinion because I don't know. So everyone's all about PPG and all that stuff or whatever. I personally think that the true friendship is Serena and Leah.
Of
I think
course.
people try to make PPG a thing. I think they peeped that, and now we're just gonna go with the PPG. And yes, I know Serena's sister talked about the sisterhood and they cried and everything, but I'm still not buying it. I don't know where everybody forgot, but I'm not forgetting about Leah and Connor and Janae and that whole thing. And that has truly been my pet peeve in all the interview rounds. I don't think anyone's asking that question about what that was about and why Janae was treated that way. And I'm gonna need more people to ask that. And if it's not gonna be asked, I need it asked in the reunion. How do
I'm
you
a
do that to
hundred
someone
percent
that
with
you
you.
love so much?
I'm 100%
So
with you. Leah and Serena have been the besties from the very beginning. It's
yeah.
not like they don't like Janae. Obviously they do, but they're just not as close. But I agree with you that it's for marketing purposes. But also, I don't know. You know how I hated Leah, but she grew on me. I can't say like I like her, but I do appreciate certain things about her. I do think she's self-aware that a lot of what she does is fucked up, and I always have a soft spot for people who can recognize that what they're doing or how they're acting is wrong, even though it's wrong. So I can't really hate on that because all you can do is try to be better, right? And I will say, almost every single beef she had in the villa, she was very quick to address it. Like, maybe
Mhm.
apart from the one with Janae and Connor, which maybe they had a conversation but we didn't see it. But like when she blew up at Liv, I was very shocked by how quickly they addressed it and kind of got over it. Even though Liv pissed me off with the way she talked to Janae, but anyway, maybe we'll talk about that. But yeah, I don't know. It just made me not hate her as much because I do think she realizes a lot of what she did and said is not good. I liked how she took accountability for the whole Rob thing, how she spoke about him. And a lot of people either get immediately defensive and can't admit it, but she never did. So I have to give her credit for that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I can agree to that. And I know I'm all over the place. I just feel like I
It's
missed
fine.
saying the reason for
Yeah.
that conversation with Kaylor. It was because of that fight you just reminded me, and where Leah said it's giving white woman scared. That's what they were
Yes.
defending Kaylor about. So I think like that's
Oh,
important
God.
context to that. But going back to what you said, yes, yes to all of the things about Leah. And if it is genuine, then yes, I agree. Taking accountability, and Miguel kind of alluded to that in his speech, like, oh, she saw herself, she took accountability, like some of the things that she felt so bad about, and she turned it around. So as long as it's genuine, it's just that in the world we live in now, I'm always so skeptical. I watch a lot of reality TV, and I just know that a lot of these people are thinking about their careers and their strategy, and it's like being aware. And yes, I know they don't know what the outside world thinks, but as long as it's genuine, then yes, I'm all for it. Like, I'm a huge Big Brother fan, and Big Brother just started, and we have like a contestant sitting there talking about, I mean, it just started last week, and he's like, "Oh, I don't want to work for the next year. I'm just gonna spend the next year building my following, start a podcast," and it's
Oh,
annoying.
God.
That's not
Oh,
why
God.
we are watching these shows. And when you're
Hmm.
so aware and what the outside world might think, so you could get this or get that. So it makes me very skeptical a lot, which doesn't make me right. But that's my only thing, was like, as long as, because I mean, from the words of Leah's mouth, she's like, I'm toxic. She was like, I'm fucked up. I'm a terrible
Hmm.
person. I'm this. And then she gave us examples. So yes, he turned around, but is it because you're like, oh, I better get my shit together because I don't know how this might translate outside, especially after the Twitter challenge when people were saying that she was mean? She told us to our faces that we can stick it up our asses and she doesn't care. But that is when the switch happened, you know? That's when
No,
she
I
started taking
believe her.
accountability.
I'm gonna give her
Okay.
the benefit of the doubt. I am. I'm gonna be. And I know you're a reality TV vet, which again maybe we'll speak about the future of Love Island at the end. But I'm already worried for the next season of Love Island USA, just because of how amazing the season has been. We are going to get the biggest clout chasers next season, and I just want us all to prepare because it's going to be hell. Because this has been such a nice organic success. I feel like Love Island USA, they've been working to get better and better and better, and they just absolutely cracked the code this season. Perfect contestants, couldn't have scripted it more. Like the best made for TV people ever, who genuinely seem to like each other, you know? So it didn't feel toxic like other seasons have been. Now, how you can have like entertaining Love Island seasons, but it's toxic and you feel dirty because they all clearly hate each other. I never felt like that with this season. They just cracked it. It was gold. So next season, we're just going to get the worst people. But I will say I will give Leah the benefit of the doubt because I do genuinely think she was a bit disgusted with herself with how she reacted about certain things. Now, I'm not going to say she's going to change or become a better person, but I think she recognizes that. And you know what? As long as you do and you're going to try to do better, I can only rate it until, yes, you prove me otherwise, you know?
Yeah, and everybody deserves the benefit of the doubt. And like I keep
Hmm.
reiterating, I do hope that is genuine. It's just my pessimism that I'm not putting completely to zero. They tried so hard to push Rob and Leah on us, but it just wasn't working. And I was very glad because even Janae kept pushing and saying, "Oh, you and Rob, you and Rob." But I did appreciate when Leah was like, "If I had to pick, no, I would still pick Miguel." Like,
Yeah.
dead it. Like, there's
They
nothing
weren't having
to be
it. I
said.
love it.
and not having it. And then even in the interviews, apparently, when they had this interview, there's this another podcast, Chicks in the Office, and I think they got exclusive interviews because they were in the After Sun, and they got exclusive interviews to talk to all of them after the finale. And they said, "Oh, you because there's been these things. There's another person I follow. I'm telling you guys that." Love Island USA consumed my life. So she writes for another magazine for them. And she had a whole article about how they think Rob has a crush on Janae and there's something there and all that kind of stuff. So, anyways, they ask her about Rob and their friendship, and Kenny chuckles, and Janae looks dead in the camera and says, "What friendship?" And then her words verbatim was like, "Besides the fact that I can't stand Rob, I did not talk to that man for like a long time, but it was a thing of I still felt like he had a connection with Leah, and if Leah's happy, I'm happy." So that
Oh
was a
wow,
surprise to
she
me.
didn't
I
like him. I
could not
never
stand.
got that vibe.
No,
Wow.
neither did I. Neither did I. Which is why you learn that editors are the true powers of reality TV. Because
Yeah.
I had I had no idea, but those were her words. Quote: "I can't stand Rob." So
I'm actually like flabbergasted right now. Like I would never. And she wasn't joking. She wasn't being typical
nope,
Janae.
she was not. Nope. The thing was
Raw. I
like,
wonder what he
"Oh,
did.
she was like, your friendship with Rob," and she goes, "What friendship?" And then Kenny's like, "Oh." So yeah,
Raw. Like I wonder what happened. I feel like Janae doesn't hate people by heart. Do you know what I mean? Like he
yeah,
he would have done like she seems to be a lover girl in general and seems to be generally kind of a kind person. So he must have really
yeah.
done something for her. I wonder. Now. I want to know. Why did you tell me? I'm gonna lose sleep over this
Well,
now. Got to know why.
I don't think it's
Hmm.
so far fetched to see why someone couldn't stand Rob, especially since he had a thing with one of her good friends with Leah and with
Yeah.
the whole thing and with like, "Oh, I'm gonna go home with Andrea," and then you didn't,
Do
and
you
then
know
you did.
what?
I don't think Rob is like the. I don't know.
No, I'm
I
just
can
saying the
see him
fact
being
that we didn't
annoying.
see anything. No, I can see why people like. I'm not
Oh,
saying I don't understand why anyone wouldn't like Rob. It's the fact that we didn't see an inkling of it on TV is why I'm shocked. But
oh,
now you
the
said it,
producers love Rob.
maybe he was even more of a dick to her about them not voting her to go home over Andrea that we didn't see, and maybe it stuck because that was it rubbed me the wrong way when I was like, why is everyone implying that it should have been Janae that was voted off? Which, okay, if we're being fair, sure, because she didn't have a connection. But you lot have kept other people on to find future connections, like Liv, several times. Why can't
Yeah,
Janae like be the beneficiary for once? But I was a bit annoyed with how irritated they were that Janae was still there over Andrea, like all the boys. But they seem to have squashed it. But maybe it was worse than what was shown, and maybe it dragged
yeah.
on even longer, and maybe that's why she doesn't like him. I'm making up theories, but that's the only thing that makes sense to me. Wow.
Again,
Okay.
they a lot is happening that there's a lot that can be asked at the reunion. There's a lot of like stuff we can feed on for the reunion, and I'm
Mm.
so glad about that. But in Rob's interview, he said he and Andrea should probably give each other space. Distance was what he
Hmm.
said. I was
Oh.
like, wow, this guy.
Can I say I love Rob, by
He,
the way? Like, unironically. You know, before I was like, I love him ironically because he's great TV. But I
yeah,
genuinely love him. I feel like he's one of the best TV characters ever. He's crazy. I would literally watch him for another 6 weeks, no problem. Endlessly entertaining. And he's not cruel. That's the thing. I don't like my reality show, like, quote unquote, villains, even though I don't really consider him a villain. I don't like them cruel because to me it just takes the fun out of it. I just want you to be a bit
yeah.
unhinged and unpredictable, and that's what I got with Rob at every turn. You know, I love him.
He did say they asked him about Leah, and he said like, "Well, yeah, it's not like the feelings aren't there. Like, yeah, I clearly have feelings for her, but it wouldn't work long term." I don't think she was the host. The Alex Cooper was picking up what he was saying. He was like because they were talking about that final chat. Rob is just so
Hmm.
dramatic. Like when he
He is.
called Leah to come to the side, I'm like, "You're walking out with Cassie. Like, why would you not call her for that?" And he was staring longly. He was like, he was just a closure, just wanted to talk that there are feelings there, but like long term, me and her would not walk. It would be toxic. And I don't think he's
And he
wrong about
knows
that.
that.
I think they
Rob
bring
is
out the
very
worst in each other.
self-aware. Low key, he's very self-aware. Like, I was like, if you actually listen, Rob is always telling us how he's feeling. Like, he's not joking,
Yeah,
bro. Like, you know how he will say things with a straight face and everyone's like, ha ha ha, he's so funny. I'm like, this mofo is dead ass serious. He's telling you how he
yeah,
feels. Like, if he says someone is boring or there's no connection, like, he's not joking. And he knows full well
yeah,
that while he may be attracted to Leah, like, they would kill each other. And she is
yeah.
toxic. We all know it. She knows it. So, yeah, good on him for not pursuing something. He seems, yeah, like he's not going to waste his time. Isn't it wild that him and Cassie were fucking before they'd ever even kissed? I was just like, wait, did I hear right? I literally had to rewind. I'm like, what's going on here? I was so blown away. I was just like, what? But yeah, that was like
Uh,
interesting to me. All right, yeah.
yes, I agree with you. I'm just like, I didn't even realize that they hadn't kissed, but I mean, whatever floats our boats. I don't care. It was just the
Yeah.
fact that if Rob hadn't told Aaron in the shower, I don't think we would have known that they had sex. They had like the
Me,
nighttime thing or whatever, and I saw the
yes.
face, and I just thought like maybe it was, according to them, finger foods or whatever, and that was it. But then he said it, and then when they had the conversation, I was like, oh, they did have sex or whatever. But Cassie, and I can't remember if you watched last season, but it's
No,
not,
yeah, I was
that is
gonna say,
Cassie.
can you give me a quick background on Cassie? Because I was like, oh,
Ca-
she's pretty, but literally, I left not knowing anything more about her at all. I'm like, she's a very pretty girl. That's all I had. So yeah,
Cassie is
can
pretty
you,
open with her sexuality, and she is young. I do think last season she was 22, so this season she should be
okay.
23. She also came out as bisexual last season. That has nothing to do with this, but in terms of her man was the one who went rogue in Casa Amor to the point where he slept with the Casa Amor girl and they hadn't even had sex. And then they came back. Her man was
No.
young too. He was 21, and then all that kind of stuff. And then
Did he
she
bring
got
the
so
Casa girl
mad.
back?
Oh, he sure did. And he
Okay. No,
recoupled
it would
with
have
her.
been worse if he
And then
didn't. Let's be real.
it became a whole thing and all that. But then it got even messier because she now became attracted to the Casa Amor girl. They
That's
even shared a
so
kiss.
funny. That's so fun.
And then
Okay,
when
I
it
have
was
to
time,
go back and watch last season. I know I said I would
and
do it, but yeah, wow, I
when it
love
was
it.
time to recouple, we were like, is she gonna go with the girl? Her name was Charlie, I think, or is she gonna go with Leo? She eventually went with Leo, and they were actually second. I was so torn between voting for them, even though they were so toxic, and they weren't
Wait,
supposed
sorry, she came
to.
second and they brought her back.
No, no, no. Cassie recoupled with. She forgave her man.
No, but they came second in the whole show,
Yeah,
and they brought her back.
yeah.
Like,
They,
anyway, you
you've
know
watched
how I already feel
Australia.
about them
They brought
bringing
back what's that girl over and over, Mitch and the other person. They kept bringing them back, even though they won.
Mitch
Mhm.
in Australia.
Yeah, Mitch and
I
Tina.
told you, I've
The
only ever watched 2 seasons of Australia. I didn't
Okay,
watch
I
the
think
rest. Yeah,
the second season, Tina was the Asian girl,
yeah.
and
I
Mitch.
just
Yeah,
think
they
it's
brought them
really
back again,
weird.
and they were winners.
Why are you bringing back
Yeah.
someone that came second? That's wild to me. I understand Rob being brought back, but I think that is absolutely wild.
I think they brought her back because she had a connection with Rob in Casa Amor, but she was being faithful to her man. And at this point, Rob was the only one that didn't have any connection. If they brought a random person, you cannot bank on Rob. Rob is just going to give her a blank stare. But if you bring someone who Rob has already established a connection with already and they just pick up from where they left off, that's a safer bet than bringing a rando into the house.
No,
That's why I think they brought her back.
okay, no, everything makes sense to me, but it just blows my mind that you come second and they'll still bring you back. Because what are we doing here? But yeah, that's interesting. No, but yeah, I just think she's gorgeous, and I just thought it was so funny that I was literally minding my business. I was like, wait, what? They had sex, and then when she said she has that they hadn't even kissed yet, and I was like, oh wow, wild, but good
Mhm.
for her, man. Rob is
But I will
handsome.
say this. something you said earlier where you're scared about next season, and I think it's valid because it was so good and it would be so hard to get rid of. But I will say, when I talk about the season before and then even the season with Cinco, Cache, I'm not really worried because it's only been getting better and better and better. Like while the season has been great and they liked each other and they went and it went really well, I think part of the injection is that yes, there was a new host that was actually pretty good, and we had a whole bunch of new viewers, and that made the experience different. But I will say that Love Island USA has had they've been pretty good at the casting. That's the only way I
Okay.
can say it because if you if and I this has recency bias, so I can understand the frenzy and all that or whatever. But when I go back and I think about the Justine and Sally season, I mean there was something to talk about there. When you talk about the Cinco, the Trina, the Cachet, when they had that triangle that would never stop even afterwards, and then what happened,
That was such
and
a
then
good
last
season.
season with KK and whoever, and KK even left for the man, and then they broke up and all that. Like it was a lot. So,
Hmm.
in as long as they keep up with the casting, because that's where their superpower is. Give us the
That's what I'm
people
saying.
who are actually
I'm
like
not
interesting.
worried. I'm not worried about the what's gonna happen. I'm just saying the type of people that will be now drawn to a show like that. Do you know what I mean? That was my
Yeah,
own.
and that's where
Yeah.
the casting agents need to hone in on their powers. And
Yeah.
yeah, everybody's gonna look for clout, but just be discerning as to who can look for clout but also still deliver. And then we'll
Yeah.
see how that goes. I don't know if you know also that Rob had a video.
Oh gosh, a sex tape as
Yeah.
well. Oh, why are
It
people
was
leaking
it was
everyone's stuff?
well, it's solo too, like Kendall's. But
Oh
I don't know
man.
who was filming and who was. I don't want to
Where it
get
was
too
solo, so it
graphic.
was just him. Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, but I'm just saying, if it
It's the
was
same
solo,
as
they clearly sent it to someone that they were seeing, and now they've leaked it. I think that's so fucked up. I'm sorry.
well, it's the same as Kendall. Kendall's was solo
Yeah.
too. So, um, yeah, I don't know who's doing it, but it's not right. So, but yeah, he has a tape too. But honestly, I don't think it's gonna affect Rob. I think he'll be fine. I think what's gonna be fun is seeing who makes it to Love Island games. And every
Mm,
time I think about it, my number one person is Miguel. I don't know how him and Leah
yes.
are gonna work out. That's if they're single. They seem to be smitten with each other. He's supposed to come see her. And how do you feel Miguel felt by the finale of the show? How he felt about Leah?
I feel like he really likes her for now. I
Okay.
just think it's like that with both of them. I think they. Do you know one thing about Leah and Miguel? I think they genuinely like each other as people. You know, when you just see a couple and you're like, yeah, you guys actually like each other as people. They clearly get
Yes.
along. They have similar sense of humor. They really enjoy each other's company. But I absolutely do not see them together in 3 months' time, let alone six. That's not
Okay.
nah. So Miguel's too much of a
Yes.
hoe at heart. He's not a reformed rake. He is a hoe to the core and he's proud of it. And Leah is toxic, like she said. And I don't also buy Leah trying to find a long term love at this point in her life. I think she's gonna lean into her newfound fame and take advantage of it as she should. Yeah, so I think they'll probably have one of those breakups where they'll probably still be friends. I don't anticipate it being acrimonious because I think they actually like each other as people, but absolutely not gonna last, in my opinion.
I think they
What?
do like each other. I agree as people, but I think distance is going to be a huge factor for them. And they're
Mm,
just not at that phase of life where they can navigate a long distance relationship. And unlike Aaron, Miguel is not trying to get a green card. So,
mm-hmm.
he's just going to pursue whatever he's going to do. So, in the event that they are single, I absolutely see Miguel in Love Island games. I don't know if they'll bring Leah for drama, but unlike the case of where Justine is like actually like athletic or physical, I don't think Leah is. But honestly, I don't think you have to be physical to be in Love Island games. So we'll see how that goes. Um
I see Rob coming back for Love Island games 100%. He seems like the type. What do you
We'll
think?
see. I don't know, to be honest. Rob is the kind of person that's like, this was too much for me. I don't know if I could do it again. In terms of like, the last time he was just Casa Amor, after a few days, he got to go home. This was a little
Mm,
intense for him. I think I do believe like he's he said he's not necessarily an introvert, but he does need to recharge, and there was nowhere
mm.
to go. He was actually pretty surprised that they caught him going under the pool. He said in his mind he didn't think there were any cameras there, so he just went there. So when they were telling him that, he was like, "Oh my God, they caught that! How embarrassing!" So
Actually, yeah,
I
that's
don't
a good
know
point. No, I see it. That's a good point.
how he
What
would
about Serena and
feel.
Cordell? Do you see them on any of like Love Island games?
Cordell, I can.
Okay, okay.
Cordell, I can. Serena, I don't know. But speaking of Serena and Cordell, how did you feel about the family visits? They got
Um,
OBJ.
Let me go all the way back to Serena because you lot. I don't know if you remember how I left Serena. I was so unimpressed with her, and I'm just like, get this girl off my screen. Especially even
Yeah.
when they came back from Casa, I continued to be so annoyed with her. I'm like, all these theatrics for a man that from day one you kept telling us and him and Leah that you don't like that. Do you know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
again, like I said, by the end, I was like, oh, my beautiful babies. I'm so happy for them. I don't know, they just grew on me so much. I finally believe Serena that she likes Cordell. I do. I think she likes him a lot. But I still think he grew on her, that she wasn't feeling him like that in the beginning. But I think she got to
Yeah.
see that he was genuine. And so she decided to give him a chance. So, yeah. So relationship aside, I actually think they have a really good chance of making it work, personally, especially since it looks like Cordell's gonna move to LA. Um, yeah, it was really cool to see OBJ. I would never, ever, ever complain seeing Odell Beckham Jr. on my screen because that man's fine
He's
as
so
hell, always
fine.
will be. Like,
He's so
beautiful.
fine.
Like, it's so funny because Cordell is a very, very, very handsome man, but I'm just like,
Yes, he
mate,
is.
they're men and they're boys. I'm so sorry, but Odell is a man. But anyway, it was really cute. Serena's family gorgeous. Her sister's gorgeous. She's a gorgeous person herself. So of course, no. It was just nice, like hearing a message about her mom. I didn't know her mom was sick, so it was nice, like getting an
Hmm.
update from her sister on that. And yeah, I just loved it. She was so respectful to Cordell's family as well. Yeah, I just thought I had a really big cheesy smile on my face the whole time. I'm just like, oh, I love the love. You can tell they're people that are loved by their families. And yeah, it was really cute.
You could tell that Cordell was nervous because, again,
Hmm.
he reminds you so much that he's young, but
Yes.
he's going to grow into an absolutely charming young man because he's not rude. He's always trying to be respectful. He considers other people's feelings. But it was so funny when he sat there and he was like cursing, and Serena's brothers
Brother,
tried to
brother.
sun him,
Yeah.
and was like, hey, no cussing or whatever. He was like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. But he's just a diamond in the rough. That's what Cordell is. And he just
Hmm.
needs just a little bit more. And when they were doing that, I was like, oh, Daya, sorry, you got to miss out on me.
Yeah.
But
I still
meaning
think
Cordell.
people are unnecessarily nasty today. Are like, fam, I don't know. I just feel like after all these seasons of this show, you know what Casa Amor girls are there for. When you start calling them all kinds of hoes and sluts, I really don't like that. They're there for a purpose. They're
Mhm.
trying to stay on the show, same as you are. But I think they could have recognized a bit quicker that she was in a losing battle. But she was
Yeah.
gracious mostly when she found out she'd lost. And she was never horrible to Serena. She was always very open with her. She made it clear that her annoyance was with Cordell at all times. So I really appreciated that from her. But I feel really bad for her because I saw the nastiest things written about her on social media. I think out of anyone, I saw the worst things about her. And I was just like, damn. I hope she's okay. She has good people around her because, woo. But yeah.
I will say this. I didn't appreciate her playing telephone with Serena. Oh, I don't want Cordell. Then she'll come back and report back to Serena and say, oh, I just told him this. Oh, you can have him. Ma'am,
Yeah.
she always had him.
Yeah.
Like,
When they've
there
already
was not a
chosen,
thing that was
I didn't
there.
want them
Now you're
anyway.
just doing too much. But that was the only thing. I want to say that Janae also told us that she and Serena had a conversation before Kenny came into the house. And the only reason I bring it up is in one of our episodes we talked about how Love Island USA is the one compared to the UK is the one where we feel like we can kind of breathe when it comes to black women. But Janae said she and Serena had a conversation where they felt like they were not anyone's type. So as people
Mm.
kept coming in, that they were not there, but then they just kept, prepping each other up and saying like, our people are gonna come and we should just hang in there. And they weren't sure how they were gonna be received, especially since they're not just black women, but they were dark-skinned black women. And then she said it without saying it, but something about how you could see how they did their big one with the Casa women. So I don't know if she was saying that the Casa women were light-skinned. I
Mm.
was trying to read between, but I wasn't quite sure if that's what she was saying. But yeah, just wanted to throw that in there that she said at the end of the conversation. It was kind of great. So they felt happy that, they made it to the final four and then one of them actually like won. So she was just so happy that that happened and then she manifested Kenny and then Kenny came around and all that. So
Oh wow. Kenny grew on me, I have to say, because he was giving me absolutely nothing when he came in, but he surprised me. He really came out of his shell. And I think him and Janelle are so cute. I don't know if they'll last. I'll be honest with you, but I think they're really cute, especially for now.
it's so funny. I think again I keep wondering how I can't remember if in the games they mentioned that Kenny was boring, but towards the end, every episode he kept saying, "I'm not boring. Kenny's not boring," and people kept replaying that. So I don't know how he knew, but yes, he does have a personality, and I like how he's just very accepting. The number of times that Janae kept talking about marriage, and he just went along with it. He wasn't like, "Oh my God, slow your rolls, girl." So
Yeah, he seems very smitten with Janae. I love Janae. She's like, I love her whole airhead valley girl persona. I'm just like, oh, she seems like a really kind person as well. So I wish her nothing
yeah.
but the best. Oh, I'm gonna miss them on my screen.
Don't worry, August 16th they'll be back
I
and
know, I
we'll
know.
see what happens. Um is there anything we haven't touched on? Did we touch on all the four couples? Yes, we did. Is there anything else from the
No,
finale?
we didn't really talk about, well, the four couples there. So I was like, we didn't really talk about Kayla and Aaron, but we can leave it there as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, I don't
Poor
know what there is to say.
Kayla.
I think I was disappointed that her mom wrote this whole thing on Facebook and said how she could do better and all that, and then they come on the show and her little sister is the only one who's like, nah, we don't like him. So, you know.
Well, yeah, I hopefully someone gets away from him quick. I'm sorry. He was just so manipulative and was really nasty to see. I can't stand it. Oh, and I'm such a hypocrite because I just did this week. But when someone's in the wrong and they become so defensive, and then he was
Mm,
literally shouting at her, and I was like, "Who the hell do you think you are?" Like,
yeah,
Kayla's literally done nothing to you. She's been from like week two or so, she's been all about you. Like at first she was a bit
yeah,
like the first week, but she's been all about you. You've literally sold this girl dreams. You told her you loved her, and like nobody in that show has been more manipulative than Aaron. Like absolutely nobody. He treated her like crap, like complete and utter crap. And I just wish like I could pick her up out of the villa, take a step back so she can see how everything looked from the outside. Hopefully, she'll go back and
yeah,
watch the whole thing and see what we saw. But it gives me, I know abuse is a strong word. Like, I'm not saying like he's abusive or whatever, but the level of like manipulation, it just made me really uncomfortable at times because I'm like, she's not seeing everything and he's being allowed to completely lie to her. And she's clearly head over heels for this guy. Like, oh, I don't know. Just made me sad. But
yeah.
yeah, hopefully she
Maybe
seems like.
not abuse.
Mhm.
Maybe like just mind games. I
Yes,
think that's what
exactly.
he was playing because he'll say something, then he'll give her like a seashell necklace and say that's it,
Mhm.
and then she'll be like, "Oh my God, Aaron!" Then
It
she'll
just would
say
remind him of how
something.
young she is, right?
yeah, then he'd be like, "Oh, I love you," and she's like, "He said I love you."
Yeah.
So I mean, hopefully she'll find her way. She's still again very young,
Yes.
but I don't know. I don't know how she put up with a lot of things because this man shows
Yes.
more emotion for Rob than for
Oh,
her.
the true love
So
of his life. Do you know one thing I
yeah,
will
I
say I
don't.
like about this cast in general? I actually think they were all pretty self-aware. Like you said, Kenny with the whole boring thing, which I thought was funny as well in the finale. Um, Kayla knowing that she cries all the time at the drop of a hat. Leah knows she's toxic. Like I feel like they all know what their so-called flaws are. So yeah. Oh, we didn't speak about your fave. I was gonna say your fave. I'm just taking a piss. Liv. Um, yeah, she stayed a lot longer than I feel like she should have. But yeah, and also sorry, just because we haven't caught up. What did you think of Kane? Because I go back and forth. Because at first I'm like, oh, he's cool, but by the time he left, I'm like, this guy's a weirdo. He was giving me very weird energy, and I couldn't put my finger on it. But I was happy to see him go as well.
I think I'm gonna ask you why you thought he was cool in the first place.
No, he just seemed like pretty straight up, like up to the front. Not like, oh, I love him, but like I wasn't sad to see
Oh,
him in the villa. Yeah. But he
I
gave me
was
very
because I
weird
couldn't
energy.
get past his turkey teeth. And they kept saying he was hot. And I kept saying, what is going
Yeah.
on? Like, what is hot about this guy? He just seemed like he was mad to be there. Like, he was
Yes.
just annoyed. And then when he started going on, I forget her name, the light skinned Rihanna, Casa
Yeah, I
girl
can't remember
that
her
he
name. I'm
chose,
sorry.
the one who
Yeah.
Harrison also chose.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he was like, "Oh, if you're gonna go on a date with him, then don't worry about it" and all that. And then when he was an after sun, he just seemed really pissy. So
Yeah.
hopefully he doesn't make his opinion because he has bad energy.
Like I remember I suppose there's so many people in my life who suddenly tapped in to Love Island USA, but I was in this group chat that was so funny in there and they were giving a rundown of his live after he was evicted. And it said like he went on live immediately, like in the car on the way to the airport.
Yeah.
Basically, how much he hated everyone, how nothing was shown. And I was just like, damn, like, relax. Why were you on the show if you hated it this much? I don't like people who go on shows and they shit on it. Like, just because you didn't get the outcome you wanted. No one held a gun to your head, and forced you to go on the show. So don't act like you're above it all. It just really annoys me. But yeah.
He
Live, I
said
still, please
he said
continue.
he was fine. He said he just didn't like the way he had to leave, I think is what he said. Because I think it was like an abrupt you've
Mm-hmm.
been dumped from the island or whatever, and he didn't like that. But I was like, you're a casa person. They don't rate you guys. I
Yep.
don't know if you know this. But again, for
Yep.
next season, guys, stop bringing international people. Like even
I
for the sake of the
agree.
people, who wants to fall in love with people who are all the way on the other side of the country? They're still so young. They still don't have their bag.
Mm-hmm.
Who even Justine and Jack couldn't afford, even if it was fake, an international relationship. Like just stop. And apparently they've been chasing Miguel for both UK and US for a
Do you
while. And
blame
then
them,
he said he'll go for the US one because he wanted to try something different on different
Yeah.
waters or whatever. Even though I still think it's shady
Ju-
not to tell your mom that you didn't come on the show, so you haven't spoken to your mom in like months. Like
oh
something about
damn.
that, just like okay. Like I don't think you need to speak to your family like all the time, but to not speak to them at all for that long and you didn't tell them where you were going, that's different.
Yeah. Miguel, best addition to my TV. It's like that TikTok meme, spectacular. Give me 14 of them right now. I love him. Love everything about him. Best character ever. This is how you do a lovable fuckboy. He's the bar. What else have I ever heard? I love Miguel. And at first, I was so pissed because I'm like, why do we get, let me not call people ugly, but not as good looking people on the UK Love Island. And they're using British people on Americans when he could be back home with his
Yeah.
people. But we would not have seen the side of him on the UK version because I know how my people are. They don't like joy.
Yeah.
They would have hounded him out of that villa. They would have put all kinds of allegations on him. They would not have let him be his true self and spread his wings like a butterfly. They just wouldn't. The US version, especially this season, was perfect for him. Yes, obviously the whole location thing sucks, but I just loved him in the villa. He was like that archetype. We needed it, like lovable rogue. He fit it perfectly. But yeah, I'm just Kane should have gone on the UK version. That's more his them kind of people. But Miguel, perfect. But yeah, I am with you. I think UK and America is already bad enough, like you said. But Australia now you are taking the full piss. That's like a whole day time difference. Like, let's be real, flights. Come on, that's it's just never gonna happen. Like never. Let's be
Yeah.
real. Even the whole
I think
Harrison
the
thing, I'm like, why bring him? Like, why bother? Like, I don't know.
Harrison lives in America, so
Oh,
it's
he
fine.
does. Okay.
Yeah, he
How
lives
was
in
he on
Florida.
his season? I didn't watch him on his season.
It's the same thing. The only thing he did was he paired up with a black girl, and it was one of those things where, do you really like her? No, you really just
Oh
use her as a placeholder.
God.
But then,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know how people feel about Destiny, so I'm not gonna say my opinion. So, um, but I was gonna say, speaking of Harrison, like then the only other note that I will add for next season is for Casa, we're gonna need the caliber of looks and riz of Miguel,
Yeah.
looks Harrison, because Harrison doesn't have a personality, but we're gonna need those kind of looks, so it's kind of tempting, so that we get, may the best heartbreaker win. But you can't make it so uneven where you don't get anything, so you're setting it up for just one side of the house to fail. So no, we're going to need that
Tane,
caliber.
let me ask you a question. We haven't watched Love Island for years and years and years. When have you ever seen them give the girls the same options as the men? They always
I
give the
know they
girls the worst
don't,
options, like
but
everywhere. It's
and now I'm
ridiculous.
saying let's try something different. Like for
Yeah.
example, I don't even need them to have personality. If we're gonna just still make it uneven, someone like Koi, Mr. 6'8", should have been a Casa guy.
Thank you.
Then we would have seen what Serena would have done, and then that would have changed the whole. Like I just needed, like it's something different. I get it that you want one reaction, but what if we do this? What are the women gonna do? And also,
Yeah,
you know
I
what?
think it's
It
cool.
wasn't so bad last season because I want to say Harrison was not an OG, and Rob was also like a Casa guy. So sometimes they do bring like people who are, not
Yeah,
so
but
like
it's
this is
rare.
absolutely the worst.
My thing
This
is
is
they
absolutely
always
the
do it
worst.
because they want a reaction, clearly, because they know that the women are more likely to stay faithful to their guys. So they do it on purpose now, and it's tired, like you said, it's really, really annoying. And then because the Kessa girls are always so beautiful, just as beautiful as the OG girls, you get that weird anytime they bring them back. It's not unique to this season of Love Island USA when they'll like start calling them all kind of hoes and sluts for quote unquote stealing their men, which I don't like. I think they just, yeah, they need to do better all around. Yeah, not a fan. I think I'm just reiterating what
Yeah.
you said, but yeah, it cannot be said enough. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
They should do better.
Yeah.
But
So
yes, I think I'm all
all in
set
all,
for
great
today.
season. Ariana did great. I loved her final look. She looked like a mermaid. I hope she comes back.
Me too. You girl,
And
you know all I love someone to look beautiful on my screen and do a good job.
yeah,
And she did both. I have no complaints at all.
yeah. And this one last thing. I've always known that the prize pot is 100K, but I don't know why I was still taken by surprise this time. I was like, honestly, for Love Island, it seems like a lot. Like I watch some shows where they make less money or they have to do more to get it, but to lay all summer long in your bathing suits to win 100K, I'm like, that is a good gig right there. We still haven't had anyone steal the money. That would be something. If that happens, like it's like on the challenge. They do that. They steal money from people there. But I know that's never gonna happen because they claim they're in love. But it would be nice to
Yeah.
see someone steal the money one of these days. But overall, great season. I'm happy for all the people that have discovered it. I am happy for Peacock that it paid off stealing it from CBS. I am glad it's on a streaming channel because it's not censored and they get to be themselves and we get to see it. There's still a lot of editing that's being done because we find out that Kendall's dad was part of the family that they met, but they didn't show it.
Oh. Do you know one thing I also found? Which I don't know. It's kind of, yeah. They said like with Leah and Miguel, all of that. Like they didn't, like you said, they didn't get to see any glimpse of their family, even though they had like they had them prepared, I guess. But I do think it's a bit cruel. I don't think it should be a gift to get to speak to your family on a show like Love Island. I don't think it's fair, to be honest with you. I think they could have had everyone have contact with their families at that thing. I didn't like that only some people did and others didn't.
Yeah. Oh, you
Um,
just reminded
so
me. I
the
know I keep saying,
no, go ahead.
I keep saying one last thing, but you just reminded me, like, could the producers have been showing any more bias than with their final dates? Like, Nicole and Kendall got like, I don't know, they sat by the beach or something to eat or something. No, they went parasailing, and then that was it. And then Miguel and Leah got like an ATV thing. And then Janae and Kenny got to get letters from all their loved ones hanging, then letters from their moms, which is like huge currency in the villa. And then
Mhm.
Cordell and Serena got to watch their love story in a drive-in movie. Like, the difference was so vast. And you should see Kendall's face when they were telling them. I think I said it was in that moment they knew.
Oh man, that's so yeah. The producers always have their favorites. It's so funny. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
But yes, sensational. 10 out of 10. Everyone deserves a pat on the back for this season. One of the most enjoyable seasons of reality TV that I've had in a while. So yeah, I loved
Yeah.
every minute of it. It was great.
Yes, it was. And I want to thank you again for joining me through this series. And hopefully, I can kidnap you again for the finale. For
Thank
the
you.
reunion,
Let's just hope
sorry.
I can
For the
breathe by
reunion.
now. Guys, I've been muting myself
Eight.
to cough like every 30 seconds. So yeah, I appreciate you for putting up with me. Thank you.
So it'll be great. Guys, if we missed anything, we love to hear from you. Let us know what we missed. If you have any questions, you know where to find us on our socials on Instagram and Twitter at AltaCall Maps. That's AltarCallMafs. Please give us a 5-star rating on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We appreciate it. And I'll be back with Aid next week. Thanks, guys. And thanks, Nana. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, A, for lending me Tayne. Bye.
Bye.